Round two, we definitely got them all here. 5 black spells, 1 mana source, 7 drop. Seems logical. Alright, this works just fine. Both colors, multiple 2 drops. We are on the draw. That was a good draw. Black cat. Alright. I'll play the child here. Ooh. It's actually a pretty sexy draw with our Child of Night. Urborg. Gargoyle Sentinel. Alright, no attacks. That's good. What do we got here? Land. Alright, so I could drop the Living Totem, make the Child of Night 3 power, attack. He'd lose the Black Cat, we'd lose one of our cards randomly, which would suck, but we're going to have to do something about this old Gargoyle Sentinel. I can't attack with Child of Night this turn anyway. Yeah, let's drop the Living Totem. I think it's worth it. I mean, I could do the Carrion Crow as well, but I kind of like the idea of having the Lifelinker, even if it is on the ground. Because if I boost the Carrion Crow, it's just going to be able to trade with the Sentinel. The Sentinel is quite a mana sink for him, so... I mean, I guess I could do the Crow. Crow into Living Totem. Whereas doing Living Totem now gives me a 3 power Lifelinker, which isn't bad. I'm trying to think what I value more. Alright, having the Flyer, that's a 3-3, or having the Lifelinker, that's a 3-2. Alright, let's go for the 3-3 Flyer. So, this turn we're going to... Oh yeah, that's why Urborg's kind of annoying. Any non-swamp lands I've got to choose, which slows it up a little bit, but that's alright. Alright, so we'll drop the Carrion Crow here, not attack, obviously. See what his game plan is. Alright, he's black-red. Could be a good turn for a Mongrel for him since he's got the Sentinel. Kurd Chieftain, not as intimidating since he doesn't actually have a forest. Another land, so at this point, very close to Flesh to Dust territory. Alright, I think we drop the Living Totem, and we're going to stick with the same plan. We're going to boost the Crow, we're going to swing with the Crow, and what's nice is we can double block the Kurd Chieftain with the Totem and the Child of Night. Yes. I guess he could have a combat trick, so maybe I don't even have to do that. But we'll see, we'll see. I might just take it. If he attacks into my team, I should probably suspect a combat trick, especially since he's black-red. So it might be wiser to just take the damage and then next turn either get Flesh to Dust mana or just slam down a Venom Sliver, both of which are perfectly acceptable. I mean, he's probably wanting to keep up the Gargoyle. Yeah, so I'm going to just suspect a combat trick and just take it here. See if he leaves up the mana for Gargoyle Sentinel. He does. So I really hope that I get a land here. I do. So this is actually really nice now. So now we can swing in with Carrion Crow, and then we'll just nuke his Crow with the Flesh to Dust when he pays the mana. Guess I should have attacked with Totem and Child of Night, but to be honest, I don't want to lose my Ancient Silverback, so I think this is a little bit better. If I don't get the mana for Silverback, I get my Death Touch, or if I do get the mana, I get a nice big fatty. It's a little more dangerous to play the Ancient Silverback without being able to pay for the regen, for sensible reasons, of course, since, yeah, go ahead, we'll take that. Since not being able to regen would, of course, allow him to kill it for a turn, but we're still ahead on the race currently. Let's see what he's got as a follow-up. Borderland Marauder, obviously not a big deal with our Child of Night, and Double Black Cat is certainly not a big deal, so we're sitting pretty right now as far as I can see. That was a good draw too, so now we get to get in with Crow once again, drop a couple 2-drops and then pass. So I'm digging where we're at, absolutely. So we get to offer trades with Borderland Marauder, with the Child of Night. We get to Venom Sliver. Yeah. So my assumption is he's got the crowd's favor, but that's okay. So we're gonna go like this. We're gonna go like this, and that's it. All right. That's not a huge deal. Not at all. Ate up his turn. Didn't really do anything too crazy. Alright, so now we are definitely in Ancient Silverback territory, which is nice. So we get to play the Ancient Silverback. Then we get to attack with Totem and Carrion Crow, which is very nice. Since Black Cat is now irrelevant. Rummaging Goblin, no big deal. If we get to untap with Silverback regen mana, I'm feeling very confident. Great. Okay. Willforged Golem. Yeah, let's pound that little bad boy out. So we use this guy. 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll do the totem as well. So we got double regen mana on our Silverback. Then we'll powerhouse in with Crow and Silverback. Chump blocks, understandably. No discard, irrelevant, and pass. All right, swift beatdown. Very, very satisfied with how that game went down. Black-red, kind of odd black-red build. Usually expect something very aggressive. Black Cat, not as aggressive. Borderland Marauder, certainly aggressive. Kurd Chieftain just being played as a hill giant is kind of surprising. Perhaps he's got a green source somewhere in there. I guess that would make sense. Probably one forest or something. Yeah, not terribly aggressive looking. Gargoyle Sentinel's not typically a nice beatdown card since it requires, you know, a constant flow of mana to actually get in there. So I'm not exactly sure what to make of my opponent's deck yet. It might be just some sort of black-red mid-range. Didn't really see too much removal, only saw one Necrobite. Currently pretty satisfied with the build we've got against this deck. So I think we're just going to keep it the same and see what's in store in Game 2. Game 2, fantastic opening hand. Gonna keep it. Got a nice 2-3-4 drop. In fact, we could go 2-3 Living Totem instead, but I like the Carrion Crow 3-3 thing. That worked for us pretty well last time. Wall of Mulch, perfectly fine draw. I might want to just do the Wall of Mulch here, to be honest. I don't need the mana from the Wayfinder, and this way it's harder to kill, like with a Forge Devil, and then he'd get in for 4. Whereas with the Wall of Mulch, I can block the Bloodseeker, and I'm not, like, crying myself to sleep if he, kills the Wall of Mulch. That's no biggie. 4 toughness is typically pretty difficult to take care of. Alright, Rummaging Goblin, no big deal there. Alright, Wayfinder's looking less and less attractive with this huge influx of mana. So let's drop the Crow here, and then we'll pass. Can't leave up the sack mana, which kind of sucks, but that's alright. If he kills the Crow, we may just have to take our 4 damage. Unhappily, of course. There's his green source that he was off of the entire last game. No plays. Interesting. Alright. Just busting out the Living Totem. Put it on the Crow. Get in for 3 and pass. I don't think we're going to play the Wayfinder in this game. It really seems unnecessary at this point. Unfortunately, that means we've got a grip full of lands, but that's okay. Child of Night, not a bad draw. Let's go ahead and get in with Crow and Totem. Alright, no big deal there. Crowd's favor was something we were going to have to worry about regardless, so not the end of the world. Let's bust out the Child of Night and then pass. Could sack Wall of Mulch at any moment, but kind of digging it as a blocker right now. Especially since we're already ahead on the board. So Thundering Giant, this is a fine opportunity to use the mulch. Kind of surprised he decided to block like that, but let's go ahead and chump block this guy, trade here, sack the Wall of Mulch, hopefully find something big. Oh, that's right, the Bloodseeker. Totally forgot. That's alright. So, in retrospect, I wish I hadn't blocked the Bloodseeker, but my bad, I totally forgot. Did get a Venom Sliver out of the deal. Hopefully we can find a fatty here. Not quite. Alright. So bust out the Venom Sliver. We get to continue to attack. Yep. Obviously not thrilled about that, especially since this guy's going to get absolutely enormous, but still don't want to play the Wayfinder. I know the moment I play it, I'm just going to get rid of Siege Worm and all the important stuff, and I literally do not need a land in any way, shape, or form. I could not use a land less, but unfortunately, I may just have to sadly play my Wayfinder as a chump blocker because I'm just drawing too many lands this game, so sadly, I think we all know what's going to happen. I'm going to play Wayfinder. I'm going to lose my Hornet Queen, but alright, well, let's just play the Mystic instead, I guess. Alright, now unfortunately we're in hugely enormous trouble, so needed to see one of our, I believe it was 5 or 6 fatties that we have in the deck, and we just couldn't, so not much you can do about it. Just got to accept your fate sometimes, that you don't always draw nice. Yeah, another land. Here goes our fatties. You ready for this? Here's all 3 of our fatties in the yard. So if I block the 4, still dies. So unfortunately the crow has to stay back, which sucks because I want to attack, but I can't. Forge Devil's excellent card against us. We have multiple Child of Nights. We have multiple Venom Slivers, Typhoid Rats. A lot of good stuff for him in that Forge Devil for sure. But I've been a big fan of that card for a while, so understandable. Yeah, I mean, I have no choice. I've got to do some blocking here, sadly. Alright, just basically have to find a Hornet Queen and we're going to be fine. One Hornet Queen in this game's completely flipped, otherwise we're probably dead, since we're at 2 life. Yeah, that doesn't quite do it. Alright, so going into game 3, just really got to hope we can draw our good cards. Can't ask for anything more than that. Could do the Necrobite since he's got Crowd's Favor. It might be a nice response to that. Could do the second Wall of Mulch, but I guess it doesn't block the Bloodseeker too well if he has a kill spell. It doesn't block the Thundering Giant too well at all, so maybe the Wall of Mulch isn't that good in this match. Fester Gloom takes care of Forge Devil, Bloodseeker, Rummaging Goblin, but it also kills our Wayfinders, kills our Mystic, kills our Slivers, so doesn't seem like that good of a play. Yeah, I think we just stay the same. Really just gotta hope we can see some actual threats here. We'll play first, and yep, this is a good hand. Stab Wound's nice. Both lands. Both colors, rather. Got the Wall of Mulch. Willforge Golem's a nice threat. Eventually going into Hornet Queen if we can see enough green sources, but we'll see. Alright. That's good. No play gonna happen this turn, I imagine. There's his one green source for the ape is my assumption. Stab wound's looking pretty good here. There we go. There's a nice living totem. Not quite ready. Well, let me think about this, actually. Okay. If I play living totem, this can suddenly block Thundering Giant, which is definitely a perk. It also kills X1s. It gets me a 2-3, and it allows me to play Willforge Golem next turn. All right, change of plans. We are legitimately bringing in the living totem. Pretty underwhelming using its ability. Yes, pretty underwhelming using its ability on a wall of mulch, but I like the idea of board progression, especially when we've got this nice game winner in Hornet Queen, so to me it makes sense. Now, I could stab wound that. I'm not sure if I want to. I think I would rather wait for a better target. That was a great draw too. Alright, so getting in with... Actually, I'm not getting in with Totem. Change of plans, of course, getting in, busting out the 4-4 on turn 4 seems much better. I'm going to allow the Rummaging Goblin to live. Kurd Chieftain, not a big deal at all. So I can stab wound that dude, and then we can just start getting in. He pretty much... Or I can just Flesh to Dust it now. That's not bad either. I kind of want to save the Flesh to Dust for something fatter, since playing the stab wound on the Kurd Chieftain is going to be just as deadly. He's really going to be motivated to block here for sure. So let's just bust our stab wound on that fella. If he wants to double block the totem, I think I'm probably fine with that too. I think if he double blocks the totem, I'll just kill the Rummaging Goblin, let him keep his Chieftain because I've got the Flesh to Dust, because then he just wants to keep his mana up on it. Yeah. All right, so he's not interested in that. He's like, all right, you got it, whatever. So very satisfactory. Now Thundering Giant's not a big deal anymore because I've got the Wall of Mulch. We are currently 2 mana away from Hornet Queen. Have the nice Flesh to Dust. Pretty happy with our board state currently. He is getting some pretty good value out of this Rummaging Goblin, but I don't feel like killing it. Certainly doesn't feel like a time for Flesh to Dust to be, or yeah, Flesh to Dust to be used on it. We haven't seen our Siege Worm yet in these 2 matches, surprisingly. Alright, he's going to do that, plus Forge Devil has got to be my assumption. That's okay. That's actually not that bad. That could be much worse since we have all these X1s in our deck, so I'm not going to cry myself to sleep over that. That's no biggie. Wow, multiple lightning strikes. Yeah. I accept. Two cards left in our opponent's hand. He doesn't even have his black source yet, so I guess I could have Flesh to Dusted his Rummaging Goblin, but he's got 2 cards left at this point, so it doesn't seem worth it. Finally found his black source. Yep, that's no big deal. Definitely going to make him pay the 2 life and then Flesh to Dust his dude, which seems very good. Although, yeah, now we're just going to bust out the Siege Worm. And then pass. He's just digging for a Siege Worm out. Black Cat, no big deal at all. It means we can't bash with our Siege Worm, but we can still get in with the Crow. He'll pay the 2 life. We'll kill the Shadow Cloak. And we at least have a nice aerial way in to get to our opponent. There we go. So now we're 1 mana short of Hornet Queen. So actually I should have pre-combat played that so I could attack on the Siege Worm. It would have been much more damage, so that was definitely a mistake on my part. I'm just so used to post-combat playing stuff that... so that was actually... that could, in any other kind of, you know, more even board state, that would have been a big mistake, because I literally passed up on some serious trample damage there. So that was a big mistake, but... yeah, our deck is playing really hot. I don't know what to say. I knew going into it we had a great deck, just a very good curve, very big threats. If we get a good distribution like that, we're perfectly fine. So I'm glad that panned out nicely, and we'll see you in the finals.